the words of the All-American Rejects, it ends tonight. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Welcome to the conclusion of the Shyamalan project. Tonight, Jacob Collins and I are talking about Split. And like I mentioned, Jacob Collins from 3D Movie Cinema is here joining me tonight. Jacob, what personality am I talking to right now?
You're talking to M. Night Shyamalan, but you're talking to Mr. Smith. Wait! Oh, you're talking to Kevin now. My name's Kevin. Hey, so seriously, so you're talking now to Michelle. Seriously, I think this is really cool. But like, wait. All right, I'm back now. Yeah, but you know what's messed up about what you know what's really weird about this movie is this was actually not meant to be a movie. This was meant to be a villain in Unbreakable. He was meant to be the villain at the end of Unbreakable that Bruce Willis is based off. But M. Night's like, you know what? I like this character so much. I want to have his own movie.
Yeah, I guess it's a good place to parlay into this. In my research, I found that, like you said, this was meant to be the big villain at the end of Unbreakable. However, Shyamalan thought the pacing would be thrown off, so he basically tabled it for about 15 years.
After he couldn't get no work, he's like, you know what? I have a cool idea. Oh wait, shit, I can't get no work. All right, I'll make the Viz instead, and then that'll put me back in good graces. You know, it'd be funny if he literally had this idea for Split, but then he couldn't get no financing for it. So he's like, I'm gonna go write a fake. I'm gonna go literally shoot an indie film called The Visit, and then I'm gonna go and then come back. I'll come back with open arms. If that's the case, that's pretty freaking clever. That's pretty clever.
Yeah. Well, like we alluded to, we are talking about the movie Split. This was released in late 2016 or early 2017, depending. I saw it in early 2017. And the movie starred James McAvoy, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Haley Lou Richardson, among others. And, well, I guess we kind of, I don't know if we spoiled it in the beginning or not, but I guess spoiler warning up front, we are going to be talking about this movie in great detail. I mean, I don't think we could really talk about it without.
If you haven't seen it, then why are you here? Like, literally, that is literally like go watch the movie and then come back. But literally, like, I mean, really, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I was debating because I did not know if you've seen this already. I was debating on asking, like, have you seen the movie yet? Because I was like debating on saying you should probably watch Unbreakable, but then I didn't want to say nothing because I'm like, but then I'm like, I was like, I won't say nothing. And then when you like, I've seen it before, I was like, oh, okay.
No, I actually saw Split before seeing Unbreakable. I saw Unbreakable after the fact, and at first I was like, wait, what's Bruce Willis doing here? And then someone in the audience was like, oh my god, it's a sequel to Unbreakable. And I'm like, oh, that Shyamalan movie I've yet to see. I should really get on top of that.
Which, by the way, you said this is the last of the M. Night. I'm like, there's 2 other movies he's made. He made like a Glass.
I covered those when I reviewed them.
Oh, okay, I was wondering, making sure. I was thinking, like, I thought you were doing like. I was looking. He's got 2 movies left.
No, I reviewed Glass when it first came out. I even made
back in 2019. Was it 2019 or 2018? It was
2019. No, it was. Anyway. It was 18 or 19, one of those. But I made a whole big video talking about why the ending was terrible. But I actually liked the first 2/3. It was the ending where, like, oh, there it goes. It's all.
You thought they were gonna go to the building, like that big building, and there's gonna be a fight off, like it's gonna be like boom, boom, boom. And instead, it's just like, okay, it takes place. I'm like, did they not afford another? I feel like I have a theory that they could not afford like more money. I thought that I actually think M. Night really wanted to go to that building and have a big fight scene, but then they're like, we really can't afford any more money. Like this, we only got like $30 million. And I was like, oh, fuck. I guess I'll cut out that. We'll just do it in the parking lot.
Let's just have Sarah Paulson lead a bunch of militia members with tattoos on their wrists to take.
I thought that was stupid. I thought that was so stupid. I'm like, that was the stupidest thing ever. I'm like, when I was to touch my hand, I'm like, is she a superhero too? Nope, she's part of a secret society. I'm like, why wasn't this brought up earlier in the fucking movie? It makes no sense now because it's not like they're setting up something else. Like it goes nowhere. Like it goes nowhere. And I'm just like, why did he even do this? Because it's like, this wasn't like this was brought up in like another film. It was just literally just, You know, I felt like he was trying to do like Shield, his version of Shield.
Certainly did feel like it, but that's Glass. We're talking about Split
Yeah.
now, and just before we dive into the movie proper, Jacob, why don't you tell everyone about your channel?
Well, my channel is an OnlyFans channel where I upload nude pictures of my. No, I'm joking.
Will you, bro? Come on.
It's called 3D Movie Cinema, and I review movies just like just like him. I do lots of like right now I'm doing the Evil Dead series with Ryan. Ryan's gonna be a guest on Army of Darkness, which I Army of Darkness, which this week is Jacob Martin is dropping Evil Dead 2, so that's cool. And then and then of course I got I just dropped a movie for The Long Dark Trail, which was a screener review I did, and then of course now I'm on here doing Split with this dude right here, this awesome fella. And then I gotta go tomorrow. I'm dropping Evil Dead 2, and then Elvis this weekend, and then I'm gonna do another screener drop, and then Army of Darkness, I think, the following week, if this man's up to it.
Oh, you bet I am. And guess bit of an unrelated question, but what do you think of the trailer for Evil Dead Rise?
I honestly, you know what? I keep quoting the damn line from the trailer where it's like, "Mommy's with the maggots now."
That's such a creepy line.
Especially when she goes from a female voice to like a demon voice where she goes, "Mommy's with the maggots now."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, like, that actually looks like a horror film. I'm like, you know what? This does not really look like an Evil Dead movie. This looks just like a straight horror film. And I'm like, I love it. Like, people are like, some people I saw like, will Bruce Campbell be in it? And I'm like, he said he's not going to be in it. Well, I don't know why you think he's going to be in it.
He was upfront about that.
I think some people think because he had a cameo in the post credits of the 2013 film, which by the way, that was a stupid cameo. He just turns to the camera and he goes, "Groovy," and it's just dramatic music, and I'm like, see, really, you shouldn't have done that cameo. That was stupid because now people think, oh, you have to have Bruce Campbell in every film. Like you don't have to. It's not that. It's two different tones.
Well, anyway, I will be joining Jacob to review Army of Darkness a little bit down the line. But let's talk about. Actually, before we do talk about Split, if you do like the video, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. The chat is open, so feel free to chat with us and subscribe to the channel. The project has wrapped up, but I got a ton of content going forward, so stay tuned for all of that. But
he's got an OnlyFans too.
Oh, will you stop it? But anyway, let's.
He's joking. It's just joking. He doesn't.
Let's dive into Split proper. So the idea, like we alluded to earlier, that Shyamalan wanted this as part of the first Unbreakable, but he had to table it. And then with The Visit, mortgaged $5 million against his home to get it off the ground. It was a runaway success. And so it was like, all right, we got the green light for Split. And the movie's budget for Split was just about the same as The Visit. It was $9 million, and it made over $200 million. So couldn't be considered anything less than a success financially. But Jacob, do you remember seeing this in theaters or seeing it like at home? Jacob, you there? I think Jacob kind of froze on me. I'm just looking at a picture of his face right now. Oh, and there he goes. So I guess he ended up freezing after all. Let's give him a minute till he comes back. But just in the meantime, like I said, this was actually on the table for a while now, and found out in my research that the Horde, played by James McAvoy in the movie, was actually slated to be Joaquin Phoenix in the role, which is just crazy to me. But I mean, there is a bit of a connection there. He was Mel in Signs, so there is that. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Jacob's having some technical difficulties, but he is coming right back. But yeah, as for the movie itself, let's get into that. Oh, also another thing that I found was that there was that according to Shyamalan himself, there was actually going to be another character that was actually going to be the neighbor of the therapist in the movie, played by Sterling K. Brown, which is something that I really did not expect when researching this. It would have been interesting to see what he would have done there, but Sterling K. Brown is a really good actor, so. Like I said, y'all, I do apologize for that. Jacob is coming back. I guess while I'm waiting on Jacob, I think I'll do a bit of a soft ranking of Shyamalan films since now I have seen all of them. Let me just get a list up here, and I'll just starting to react to the. Oh, Jacob's back. Jacob, now I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry. I hope it doesn't echo back.
No, you should be fine. But anyway, I was just talking about how there was a character in the movie played by Sterling K. Brown. He was set to be the neighbor of the therapist in the movie, but he had to be cut for time. So I thought that would have been interesting because I'm a fan of Sterling K. Brown as an actor. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened there.
Right. I actually think that is actually true. Like Sterling K. Brown, that's how I saw him in the credits. I'm like, no, he's not in the credits. I'm like, was he in Glass or something?
No, I don't think so. Wait, let me check because Sterling K.
Brown. It was a deleted scene. I thought because when you go to Google, it says Glass split cast, and then you see like Sarah Paulson's name in there. You're like, she wasn't in the movie, was she? And
nope, I do not see him here. 2018, he was in Black Panther, Hotel Artemis, and The Predator. 2019, he was in the Angry Birds movie 2, Waves, and Frozen 2. So no Sterling K. Brown involvement in Glass. But it would have been interesting to see that. But before the technical issues, I was asking you if you remember seeing this in theaters or at home, or where did you see this for the first time?
I saw it on HBO, actually.
Really?
Yeah, HBO. Can you believe that? I was like, ooh, I want to watch this. And then it came on that night, and I'm like, I want to watch this so freaking bad. And then I watched it finally, and I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. Like I said, completely out of context of Unbreakable. I had no idea of what it was going on at the ending, but I thought it was of surprisingly good quality.
Did. Nope, nobody actually did. We all thought it was like, oh my God, this is a sequel to this is a sequel. We thought it was just like an original film. Like, oh my god, it's about a monster that kidnaps people.
You know, it's interesting because it's one of those things to where I actually have the DVD here. I rented it from my library. You see the little shards there, which is the shards are very similar to what we see in Unbreakable. So the marketing had little Easter eggs here and there of like, oh yeah, like that's like you see it now, but back then I did not put two and two together on that.
I didn't either. Like I was in the wind too, just like you, man.
Well, anyway, getting into the movie itself, obviously the big star, like he's on the poster and everything, is James McAvoy as the Horde. In credit where credit's due, the dude, like, he just crushed it. I mean, he mastered all the personalities. He had to cycle in and out of all the personalities, sometimes in one scene at the same time. So he steals the whole thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like when when he's portraying, like, to me, Walking Phoenix was the first choice for this role, right?
Yeah, while you were away, I actually did bring that up. So
yeah, see, that's what I hate when something like that. You're like, Walking, yeah, everyone just heard that. I was like, thought I was clever. But yeah, so which I thought really, Walking Phoenix. I feel like it's sad that James McAvoy did not get an Oscar nomination for this movie, because I think he deserved it, because that is the acting experience right there. Is when you're trying to literally be somebody else, and then like if you can make the audience believe you were this person, you were this person, you were this person. That to me, I think, is just brilliant.
Yeah, and there was a scene that I actually saw it on Instagram. It was an Instagram reel of just of like from going to Kevin to Patricia to Hedwig and back to Kevin again, and a couple of other personalities that I can't remember the names of, but it just happens so fast. And I'm pretty sure the Shyamalan gave him like here are all the backstories of all of these personalities. You have to know all of them. And McAvoy was like, all right, bet. Let's see about that.
Yeah. Did you already explain about his fist?
No, I did not.
Oh, so basically, like, what happened was when he was shooting, he got aggravated because he couldn't understand the scene, so he punched like a wall, but it was fake, but he hit metal, and so basically it broke. Like, he broke his hand, and so he had, like, in the scene where he's taking the glasses off to become the Beast, he literally, his hand is broken.
Wow.
He was committed. Like, McAvoy did he does. He commits to some roles. Like, I will say this. Yes, okay, and some people are gonna call me out and say he's a great actor. When I first saw him as an actor, I was not a fan of his. I honestly, it wasn't until Split that I became a fan, because I loved him as Xavier. I thought he did a good job in First Class. This wasn't, and I liked him in Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. I just never thought he was the actor. Like, oh my god, I thought he's a blockbuster actor, but he's not a method actor. Like Tom Cruise is a blockbuster actor. He's not a method actor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so whenever I saw this movie, I was like, oh my god, he actually made me like have faith in him. Okay, this guy could win an Oscar, because he actually does try now. He's not just trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to be this guy now. I'm trying to be this, like, like he actually was, I felt like, and I think that is, like, my favorite scene is the scene where he's becoming the Beast. He's becoming the Beast, and he's like, just embracing the Beast. And you hear that music score. They're trying to get that door unlocked, and you just see him transform, and you hear the like that, that violin play, like, and you just see him. I'm like, that to me is so Shakespearean. I'm like, yes, this is what I love. I'm like, this right here feels like M. Night's actually trying. This is like the M. Night we begged for. This isn't the happening M. Night. This is literally Sixth Sense M. Night. And I'm like, that to me, it feels like, this dude could actually, if honestly, if he just got his ego out the way, he actually is a good writer and filmmaker. Literally, I think when he wrote Sixth Sense, that was a good writer. When he made the Visit, that's a good writer. When he I think he just, after he made a couple of projects, he got full of himself. Like, he makes a whole documentary. I was talking to you earlier about this. He made a whole freaking documentary about his, like, ego, where, like, M. Night is, like, literally the shit. Like, yeah, there's a whole documentary about how he is like the shit, and it's like, dude, stop feeding your own ego, man. Like, I think that's what I hate about him as a person, is that he'll write a good movie, and then he'll start thinking, you know what, I am the stuff, right? I know my shit. You know, I'm gonna make the next one about me, and then you're just like to me, it's like, do you like Signs?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Like I believe when Signs came out, it had a mixed reception kind of with The Village, because like I mean the Signs and The Village were kind of like like they were marketed as horror films.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they were like in which people come out like oh it's okay, and I think when he made Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, people were like these are great films, and then I think when he started making Signs and The Village, people kind of were like oh it was okay. They were expecting a horror film, they weren't expecting what these movies. Which that was not his fault. That was the studio's fault because they were trying to think that we can just turn this into a horror film, And when it came to The Happening, he actually caved in and said, "And the Lady in the Water, I'm going to make a horror film." And then he wrote those movies, and then they were like, "These are not good horror films."
Yeah, and what makes me just be like, come on, please, in Lady of the Water is the Bob Balaban character, the critic, like that just is like, the mask is slipping, Knight. What are we doing here?
I remember one time when After Split came out, Kevin Smith goes, "M. Night has turned back into M. Day."
That's M. Night has turned into M. Day.
And Ralph, I think, goes, "Or M. Gay," if you think about it. I was like, that makes no sense, but okay.
All right,
It was
well,
back in 2016, okay.
Different time. Well, this movie was actually my first exposure to Anya Taylor-Joy as an actress, and she's gone on to do a lot of big things. She was in The Northman last year, which is one of my favorite movies of that year. She was in The Menu, and she was in Menu was my favorite movie last year, and she was the main character in that. So I've become a big fan of hers overnight. But I remember seeing.
You don't want to talk about that. Like we're not going to talk about New Mutants.
I remember seeing her in this and thinking, "Wow, this girl's good. She's going places." And
you watch her New Mutants, and you're like, "Well, oh wow, she took a step back, huh?"
Oh, come on now, man. Really?
Well, you know what? I will say she was great in Glass as well.
Yes, she was.
Like that's the same character. I mean, but like she was great in Glass. I like her in this Split. I do. I've never seen The Witch. I know some people say it's a satanic movie, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I've heard, and it's by Robert Eggers, who I am a big fan of, but I've never seen it. I have an idea of what happens, but just looking at it is like it's very old time English and like set in this like I just don't know. I think for a Scary Mania one year I will cover it, but I don't know.
Mania? That's that's the name of your channel, Scary Mania Halloween Time. That's clever.
That's my 31 reviews of Halloween series.
Clever. Everybody's got a good gimmick. Mine's just plain and simple 3D Halloween horror movies. That's it. Just like I'm not even like it's just like 3D is already a gimmick. Like why do I need to add like 3D mania of horror scares and frights? Like I'm just like it's just 3D horror Halloween. I mean, take it or leave it, guys.
But the nature of Anya Taylor-Joy's character in this movie is actually darker, I would argue, than The Beast, if you really think about it, because, and we'll talk about the ending later on, but just the whole nature of her being a victim of abuse from her uncle and her legal guardian, it's tough stuff, especially that one scene where you see her in the woods and her uncle is that scene is just like secretly horrifying to me, low key.
Not even secretly, it is really horrifying. I'm just like, ugh, that's disgusting. Especially when you see all the marks on her. That's what I watched it earlier, and the person I watched it with, it was like, are those like burns? Are those scars? Or are those just like claw marks? I mean, what are those? That's what I was like. You're right. What are those? They never explain what is it.
No, it's never explained, but I don't know if it's maybe like self-inflicted or if it was something done to her. All I know is that Shyamalan did a really good job of like putting the idea in your head and not overly explaining it, because he tends to over-explain certain things. He didn't over-explain it here. He just like just gonna leave this here, and you're just like, oh shoot, like that's not good.
Oh, for sure. Like, which M Night is very good at doing stuff like that. He's very good.
Yeah, and then we have the other girls, one of whom is played by Haley Lou Richardson, who's gone on to do good things.
She was
I
in a
think-
movie that made me laugh so hard. Like, it was one called The Bronze. I don't know if you ever seen that one with Sebastian Stan and the girl from The Big Bang Theory. She plays a girl that's trying to win an Olympic. She's kind of stupid, not like special needs, but like she's like just like one of those girls that's a diva, and that like she's a moron. Like it's the funny kind, where it's like she's. I'm trying to explain what I. She's kind of like Mean Girls, how like they have one that's the stupid mean girl.
I think so, yeah.
She's kind of like that, like a preppy girl that's like a moron, And so basically, she's like, and like they're trying to win the bronze. Like she's trying to teach her how to win the bronze, and like the Winter Soldiers in the movie, the Sebastian Stan. And she that was where I first saw her, and I'm like, hey, that's the girl from the bronze. And now she's like a big actress. And I think what was she in? She was something like recently. I know what was it? I forget what she was in.
Hang on, that's what IMDb's for. Let me just take a look. Haley Lou.
I know her husband was in that show Schooled.
She was in The White Lotus recently for HBO.
She was also in Manifest, wasn't it? Manifest or Manifest?
She was in Montana Story, After Yang, Unpregnant. So she's been very active. She was in Operation Finale, which is a movie I really like. So yeah, she's been pretty steady.
I mean, hey, good for her. I mean, I don't know about the other girl. The other girl, I don't know.
No, I don't really know much about her either. And even just really, this is just the James McAvoy, Anya Taylor-Joy show. Those two are the most interesting for many different reasons.
By the way, did we see what happened to her? Like Haley Lou Richardson, didn't she get killed? I believe she got killed.
I think so, yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I rewatched it last night, and I'm like, I saw the other girl get killed, but I didn't see her. I'm like, did she get killed too, or?
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of unpredictability. That's the big theme around this, because you don't know what personality if you're going to get Kevin or Patricia. Is like
You're gonna get the 9-year-old kid. That's like a big Kanye West fan. Literally, that scene is hilarious. By the way, where he's like, I like doing that dance. You're just
especially in a 2023 context.
It's like just break dancing and all that stuff, and I'm just like, man, James McAvoy's just going all out. I bet you anything he did those dance moves himself. He's just like, I got it.
Oh, I'm fairly certain of it. But yeah, like I said, McAvoy crushed it, just nailing every personality, and then the scariest of them all is the Beast, and just like you were talking about with the hand thing, just him slowly just morphing into it. And it's not like a big, like Incredible Hulk kind of thing where he turns green and like rips the shirt and everything.
That'd been hilarious if he did walked in a green and like a CGI monster. I'm like, that's M. Night for us right there.
That is true. But he gets taller, he gets like more muscular, he starts climbing up the walls. It's in as about as a normal world as you can ask for in a Shyamalan universe is like, and now we have to run. Hey, speaking of Jacobs, we got Jacob Martin here. What's up, Jacob? How you doing?
Hey, buddy, what you doing? Split is awesome.
I hope Tennessee is treating you well, my friend. But yeah, and just him climbing up the walls and all of that. And really, my favorite scene of the movie is when Anya Taylor-Joy, she's got the shotgun and is like trying to shoot him, and it's not working. And so she has to because the whole movie takes place underneath a zoo, the Philadelphia Zoo, because it's a cosmic law that every Shyamalan movie has to take place in Pennsylvania, except for after.
Everyone's so happy right now with the Super Bowl. He's so freaking happy. He's like, Philadelphia, we're going to the Super Bowl again! Yay!
It's just like my friend Phil. Tennessee is treating me well. Well, very good. But then she gets into this cage and then then the beast splits the bars, which I just
That was dope. That shit was dope. I was like, you were dead, because I was like, she shoots him with a shotgun. And by the way, that was awesome. I love how at the end though, like the guy, the kid was like, shit, gangsta, where he got a shotgun right here. He's like that to me. I was like, that kid. Honestly, I love that the 9-year-old. That to me, the 9-year-old personality was freaking hilarious, because you don't see that often. You know, it's like it's a 9-year-old. It's a man doing a 9-year-old impression.
Then he splits the bars, and not like ripping the door off, but it's like slowly pulling apart the bars, which just makes it even more scary.
Hands. Yeah, that to me I thought was really good. I actually really liked that, because like James McAvoy in this movie, like I will say the part that made me kind of like was this, like the part where he was like when he starts speaking, when the beast starts speaking, where the beast is here. I'm like, oh god, that's like, just, sometimes silence is better in a way, because it's like,
I will
more intimidating than when you don't speak.
I agree with most of what you're saying, but some of my favorite pieces of dialogue in the movie comes from when he speaks. If he splits the bars, he sees the scars on Anya Taylor-Joy's body. He's like, "You are pure," and it's like that whole scene where he's like, "Rejoice." Like, I don't know, it worked for me. I might be alone on that, but it works for me.
It does. You are not alone. I agree with you. It does. It works, because like that scene in question where like he rips, he's like, like that to me should have been the poster of the movie.
That would have been a crazy poster.
Like if Jack Nicholson gets the shining poster of him at the door going, "Here's Johnny," which, why can't James McAvoy, they do a 4K release where he's like, split.
I mean, he's literally splitting the bars, so I mean that's a very apt title there.
Like this is the poster, by the way, where he's like that sexy face where he's like that blue steel look where he's like angry, and then he's got glass around his face where he's like
blue steel. But to me, Split marked M. Night's true comeback as a director, went back to his psychological roots and crafted an unnerving thriller. James McAvoy was incredible in this movie, facts. And then this movie also has one of my favorite M. Night twist endings with its Unbreakable connection. And so, yeah, I guess it's a good way to go into that. But Anya Taylor-Joy's character gets rescued, and then it comes crashing down that you realize she's going to have to go back to her abusive parents who don't give a crap about her, is like out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
like a chicken that's like, "Hey, I'm saved from this dog," and then you go into a restaurant and they end up killing you and cooking you.
Pretty much, yeah. And then you see the news footage in the diner, and it slowly pans out, and the waitress is like, "What was the name of that guy again?" And then you see Bruce Willis there. He's like,
"Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" He doesn't say that. He goes, "Glass."
GLASS. And now that I actually know the full context of Unbreakable and how that happened, it is more of a full circle moment for me.
You imagine you go to see this movie like you, and you see you're like, "What is Bruce Willis? Is Bruce Willis? What does he have to do with this movie?" Like,
I mean, nice to see him.
Was that his dad? You're like, is that his dad? Who is that? Like that to me, I would be like, if I had not known, because I kind of got spoiled that this was an Unbreakable sequel. Because like it's the internet, so I was like, someone said, "Oh, Bruce Willis cameos is an Unbreakable." Disney made a deal, and they're gonna go into production soon, Unbreakable. And so I watched the movie, and I'm like, "Oh, that to me, I didn't care." The only thing is, though, I don't think that's the best M. Night twist to me. Honestly, like to me, it's like that's a cool twist, but it's not like the best twist. To me, the best twist I always think is either the Village twist or the Sixth Sense will always be probably the Mac Daddy of twists.
I mean, Sixth Sense is undisputed #1. The Village one, it's one that the execution I thought was kind of poor, but given the context of the movie, I appreciate what Shyamalan was trying to go for in just the whole idea of these people having suffered too much trauma in the modern world, so they have to go back in order to find some kind of peace.
Spoilers, by the way, for The Village.
Yeah, it's spoilers in advance.
Basically, spoilers for M. Night, because we're probably going to end up mentioning at least an ending or two. So spoilers for any M. Night movies. If you have not seen an M. Night Shyamalan movie, don't come in this long.
Yeah.
Except for Knock at the Cabin. We're not going to spoil that because we haven't seen it.
What did you guys think of Glass?
We just literally talked about it earlier.
I liked it up until the ending, and then the ending killed it for me.
I thought my favorite part of Glass, though, is literally like I love when he has like he's the flashing and like when it's just they're doing the flashes of him, and James is like he starts speaking different languages. Like he's like hey cutie, like it's like a teenage girl. It's like hey cutie, and then it goes to like like it's like oh por favor. And then it switches to like like another person, like and then Patricia, and then just keeps going back and forth. I like that, and I like the scene where Bruce Willis is walking down the street and he runs into a 9-year-old, and then he's like, "Sorry, bro," and then he walks away. And he's just like, all right, so he knows that's the guy who kidnapped it. And then the like 9-year-old kid's like, "The beast is coming for you any minute now," and I'm just like that 9-year-old makes me laugh every time I watch that. When his personality is a 9, especially I thought it was funny whenever he's in the room when he's doing the Kanye dance, and then all of a sudden he gets the baseball bat, goes, ah! And she elbows him, oh! and then Patricia takes and goes, "Keep walkie-talkie to me now." Just like, I don't know. I just there are some moments that I really like in Split. By the way, the Split is just fantastic. The moment I really love, though, I absolutely love, is like whenever like she says his name, Kevin Wendell Crumb, and then like he just goes like, "Can you like?" He's like, he just wants to die. He's like, "Just kill me," and then he goes, "Wait," and they start switching like personalities, and I'm like, this dude is so good. Like he just literally in that scene just jumps back and forth to a persona, and then goes back and forth, and I'm just like. And he's like, has Dr. Good getting our emails? And then he goes, wait. And then he starts, it's like literally, if Jim Carrey, I honestly think Jim Carrey could have done this well too. Like, obviously we know Joaquin Phoenix was the first choice and they couldn't reach a deal with him. Which, you know why I think they couldn't reach a deal with him? Was because they probably were telling him, hey, look, we're going to make another film after this.
Yeah.
Because he does not like being committed to 2 projects. He does not. That's why he didn't do Doctor Strange, because they wanted him to sign on for like a 9-picture deal. And he goes, I don't want to do that. 9 pictures.
I mean, he's a 2-time Oscar winner, so clearly he's doing something right. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of commitment phobic if you really think about it. But but to your point,
I don't commit to anything unless I get an Oscar nod. He would have won the Oscar. I guarantee you, he would have got nominated and won the Oscar if he would have done Split.
It's interesting you bring up Jim Carrey. If we're talking about like early 90s Jim Carrey, like 1993 Jim Carrey.
What's wrong with 2007 Jim Carrey?
Like this was 1993. Like he did Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask in the same year, 1993. That was Jim Carrey at his peak, and he is not close.
I'm surprised he did not start doing drugs because when Chris Farley had like 4 different projects, he just started doing blow. I'm surprised Jim Carrey didn't get hooked on blow because most people went that route. Jim Carrey didn't go that route. I'm just surprised because, Jim Carrey just kept it going. I mean, he could be. We don't know. For all we know, he could be doing that. He just is better at hiding it. But I really, truly think that Jim Carrey, though, he's very good at what he does,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, without
like I'm like, he's very good. Like, I think Jim Carrey could have done it, but I think he would have done it in a more comedic way. I don't think he would have done it in a serious route like Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think could have done it.
No.
I think he would have played it one note. He's like, oh, so I'm just doing a voice. Okay. Like, oh, Patricia, I'm just going to do a female voice. No, you have to literally make the audience believe you are Patricia. You can't just go, listen, I'm Patricia. You're like, no, you just sound like a guy doing a girl's voice. You're not Patricia. I think James McAvoy understood the assignment. Yeah. And when he did, he punched the wall because he wanted to make sure I am Dennis. Like, there's a scene I love in the doctor's office whenever Edwin is in it. Edwin, was it? Where he's like, he's literally like, she goes, you're not, you're Dennis. And then he does his face, he does like this. And you're just like, oh, that's Dennis. And you're just like, for them, for he's not even wearing glasses, but I know that's Dennis. Because James McAvoy is so good in that scene, he's able to convey with his facial expressions and his his motion, and his mannerisms, that is the character.
Yeah.
Like he can do any character. He could jump, and like I couldn't do that. I absolutely could not do that. I don't think there's a lot of people on this planet. I think there's less than 5% of actors that could probably do as many performances as James McAvoy did in that movie.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you brought up the music earlier. I thought this was interesting. This was the first, I believe, in a long time that James Newton Howard didn't do the score. It was actually done by West Dylan Thordson, who has done scores in the past for. He did the score for I, Tonya. He did it for Foxcatcher.
Isn't that the one? What's that movie called? The one where if you have sex, the demon tries to kill you.
It Follows.
It Follows. Didn't he score that? It Follows.
Let me look. I honestly am not sure. Composer. Let's see.
I could have swore it said he did it. It Follows, and that's why M. Night chose him.
I don't see It Follows on his IMDb.
Damn, I thought he did It Follows. I could have swore I was reading on IMDb that said he chose Dylan something because he did It Follows and he loved it so much. Maybe he was like maybe he wasn't the composer. Maybe he was like an assistant composer on that or something. Who did
Disaster Piece did the music for It Follows.
Disaster. Or maybe, you know what? I'm thinking, it was the cinematographer. The cinematographer for It Follows did the cinematography for this.
Yeah, Mike Giolakis.
Yes. Sorry, I had mixed up the composer. And I was like, the composer. I could have swore I just read that in IMDb like today, and it's like, no, it was the cinematographer. Because I'm like, I could have swore it.
But the cinematography is very good.
Oh yeah, movie. And you know what? When I read that, and I'm like, is that it? It Follows. Was that? I don't know if that was his first movie or not, but that's well shot, well made. I'm like, really? I'm like, I was like, he's a good cinematographer. I literally just watched a screener for a movie, and called what's it fucking called again? I just had to review it on my channel. It was something called The Long Dark Trail, and that movie is well shot. Like the cinematography in that movie is freaking awesome. Like I literally was like, and it's an independent film. Like I'm like this, and there's like giant like UV shots, like aerial shots way up in the sky, and I'm like, that is freaking amazing. And it always makes me impressed when someone can make a film, like an independent film like that, and make it look like it's like shot with like an $80 million budget when it's like less than $5 million.
That's a sign of a great filmmaker when they make it look bigger and better than what it actually is.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you look at Evil Dead looks really big when it's like less than $15,000 when that movie is shot.
Yeah, pretty much the equivalent in Hollywood of Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi rummaging into their couch to find the change like lodged in there and just being like, this is all we got. Let's make the best of it.
Which you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually impressive though. It's like, for you to able to raise money, I mean, like there's a lot of people that would absolutely kill to have money. That way they could shoot an independent film. I mean, like, a buddy of mine just shot a film called The Secret Scene.
Yeah, Jacob Martin was telling me about that.
Yep. If you pay attention closely, you might hear a familiar face.
Yeah, I'll definitely look out for that. But
just listen for this line: "Police, hands on your head."
I'll definitely be on the lookout for that.
And Jonathan, your lawyer's here. Just like if you listen for this line, you might hear me. I'm just saying, you might hear me. But anyway, back to Split. I will say I think that the cast is really good. I will say there are some issues. Okay, this movie's not perfect. There is some issues. One thing is, how the fuck are you going to kidnap somebody in a parking lot when there's people around everywhere?
Yeah, that's definitely something. Upon thinking about it, it was kind of weird, especially nowadays where there's like security cameras everywhere. It's like, how?
This was 2016. There was cameras there.
Yeah, exactly.
And before that movie, like when that scene happened, I was literally looking around the background. Like there's like 6 people over here. How did this dude able to kidnap? How?
Especially getting into the car.
And no one noticed him in the car either. Nobody noticed him. Nobody. I'm sorry, but if I was in the car and someone gets in that car, I'm looking first to see, because that's a loud sound when you get in that car and shut that door. I don't understand how they're just like. I mean, the phone thing, I'll buy that. But as for the one girl, she was literally up until she just like, when she does her seatbelt, she looks over and she goes. And also, she didn't have her seatbelt on, so she could have easily got out and said, I don't know why she just waited and good. And
Yeah,
what was the guy
like,
going to do? He was just like, well, she's not fighting, so I'm just going to let her be. I'm not going to poison her. You know, I'm not going to drug her. And then he's like, you had to open the door. Now I have to get out. Shut the door. Rebuckle you. Come back. Buckle myself. And then drive off. By the way.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
that's not a 5-minute process. You're taking time to take care of all of that.
You don't think Dennis is going to do all that? He's going to. You know, he's not going to chance it. He's going to like, I have to do this right. Patricia said I have to do this right. And he's OCD, so he's got to make sure it's done right. He don't care if that dad wakes up and goes, I'll just drug him again. I'm surprised. Also, he's OCD, but yet he lets pizza on the floor, like the pizza's on the ground. He drugs the guy, then there's pizza all over the ground. I would have been shocked. Why wouldn't he pick it up? Like, you would think he'd go to the garbage can, put the pizza, clean up the mess, and then get in the car. Because not like they're going to notice. Like, they're not going to notice. Like, he's like, I got time for this, okay? And also, he works at a zoo, okay? No one went down there this entire time. Like, he got very lucky.
Yeah, people tuned out.
Like, you don't see why is Kevin walking around the zoo, and now why is Kevin shirtless, hopping around like he's a wild animal, going like that's weird. Like, you know, you would think, I've never been to a zoo that at night, but I would assume they have security 24/7, or at least handlers on site 24/7.
Yeah, without a doubt. But outside of that, though, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
Just some of like the dumb mistakes, but like the logic. I will say I will say though, the movie. I mean, there is a lot of great logic in the movie, but I will say I did also find that, like, just funny, like, there's no Wi-Fi on the computer, but yet she's able to like access all these files and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of files you have to have Wi-Fi connection just to access them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, those would be buffering as hell. Just buffer. I'm just like, but, you know, which also, those are very good files shot on a computer that has no Wi-Fi. Also, where, you know, I was like, for like the camera and everything, and I'm like, that's a very good shot. Those are some very good shots. I'm like, but I'm sorry, I know I'm nitpicking the movie, but I'm just like, oh, I was like, which.
Well, I mean, in Batman v Superman, they got like 8K quality of Jason Momoa down there swimming in the deep blue sea. So yeah. Let's not question it too hard now.
Oh, that's true. That is true. And that movie came out the same year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, but and that one came out first too. That came out first.
It did.
March 2016. That one got September. Yeah. Which, but yeah, I mean, but don't you love it when there's mistakes in movies and goofs or whatever? You're just like, don't you love that?
I mean, I guess I'm a little more forgiving. I mean, filmmaking is very hard, so I guess I tend to overlook certain things if I'm into the story, which in the case of Split, I very much am. But at the same time, like, noticing it, I'm like, there is a part of me that does like get a kick out of it, like when Siskel and Ebert were reviewing Jaws: The Revenge, and Roger Ebert had the whole line, "His shirt is dry." Like, I love
his
that moment.
Shirt. Yeah, or you know what? Like, I mean, the whole movie, you're like, oh my god, like everyone in that movie is very dry for a movie that takes place in the ocean.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, remember in Jaws, the first one, Roy Scheider, when he's up there, he looks dry as hell too. When he's like, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and I'm like, wouldn't he be at least a little bit wet? Like,
just a bit. But anyway, outside of that though, on like scale 1 to 5, Jacob, what would you give the movie?
I would give it a 9.5 a 1 to 5. Okay, I thought you were talking about 1 out of 10. I would give it a 5,
Oh, really?
or or at least like a 4.9.
Like 4.95?
Well, yeah, it's just like this is almost a 5, but I mean there are there's some logical things you think like how the hell was he able to achieve that?
Like little things.
Yeah, but like other than that, like I do think the therapist and everything, like I like the therapist angle, like how she's trying to like literally sell this guy, like she's trying to make him like the Nobel, like she's trying to win the Nobel with this, and like I honestly don't you think she was kind of villainous in a way, the therapist, because
I mean,
she was exploiting him really.
She was a little bit, yeah.
Like she didn't care much about him until like and then she's just like trying to cater him to where she's like, oh, like she goes, I'm just trying to like, oh, she's like trying to explain. See, this guy, it's Patricia, it's Kevin. This is this and this, and you're just like, what about patient confidentiality? Why are you telling all his secrets? Like, especially to a world full of people, like everybody that's watching this conference is learning about this person. like, but also, did you know when this movie came out, people with split personality disorders were mad about this movie, saying it villainizes them?
I honestly did not. I did not hear about this.
They were mad too, and M. I had to defend the movie by saying, like, they understand this is actually a superhero film, but he couldn't say that at the time. He was just like, this movie is just it's a fictional movie. It's not, because they were like mad because it's thinking, oh, if you have split personality disorder, you're a monster.
I mean, that's clearly not true, but I mean, it just
what? Like to me, it's like that's like saying if you watch if you watch a horror film and Scream, it's like in Scream, it's saying if you watch a horror film, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna kill people. Like
yeah.
If you're a horror fan, you're like that. Like to me, that's what that there's one line. I know this is off topic, but there's one line in Scream that the studio wanted Wes Craven to remove because they feel like that movie endorses violence, where it's like endorses psychopaths, where it says movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative.
I mean, you got to understand that like movies are works of fiction most times, or not most times, all the time.
Right.
So you got to understand that, like, if you think that this is real, then I'm sorry, then I just can't help you. Like,
if I watch a Superman movie, I know Superman's not real. Why would I I'm not gonna go jump off a building and say, guess what? Christopher Reeve, catch me.
Yeah, it's like you got to have a healthy understanding that these things are basically fake, and if it turns off your your suspension of disbelief, then the movie's working. So, but just understand, like, this is not real. But yeah,
dude, that's the internet. Dude, the internet does not give a shit. They don't care.
Oh, they don't.
They can't process fact from fiction. They think stand-up comedians are actually talking to them when they say "yo mama" jokes. They literally think that. Okay, they cannot process jokes. Okay, that's why right now we're in this weird state in our minds right now because the freaking Twitter, especially Twitter, they cannot process a joke from like you ever see those memes where it's like it's like a cartoon drawing of a guy, and then it says jokes, can't process jokes, and you see teardrops in his eyes, where he's like, that's what it is. Really, it's like that. The same people. These are the same people that are saying, "Oh, this movie villainizes people with split personality." Are the same people that think, "Oh, Dave Chappelle is making fun of me," or Chris Rock is making fun of me, or Cat Williams is making fun of me, or Dane Cook is making fun of me. Like, these are all stand-up comedians. Their job is to literally, they literally are just there to make you laugh. It's not my fault or it's their fault if you get offended by what they say. Okay, learn to take a joke, guys. Come on. It's not like they're like. I just think that's what it is. Is like a lot of people criticize movies like, oh, we should not have violent video games because people like it's not people. It's like people don't think, oh, I watch a movie and I'm gonna go shoot people. No, it's like just like crazy people are the ones that are doing. It's like people like the ones on Twitter are like they're crazy people. Like it's not like I play the video games all the time. I have never once the game I've been playing recently is the Lego Star Wars game. I have not wanted to dress up like a Lego character and start building stuff.
Yeah, I mean probably because you can't.
Well, I mean, I could go to Party City, get a Lego costume, and go, but you know what? I like playing Evil Dead as well. I've never once wanted to go cut my hand off, put a chainsaw in my hand, and just go around trying to cut people up with a chainsaw. It's a video game. It's fictional, which I found fascinating was Cambridge did a study on violent video games, and they put people in a room. They put Call of Duty in one room, they put soccer Vivo in one room, and then they put like Tetris and like ping pong and all that. And do you know who tested the highest for violence?
What's that?
Was the soccer one tested second. The ping pong tested first for violent. Call of Duty tested third. Like the third was like the less violent, the more violent video game was less violent because the person did not get angry. He said every time you get angry, hit this button, and that person when it came to ping pong, that person hit the button more. Then
yeah, well, I think we could do an entire like stream talking about this topic. So let's table it for right now and let's save it for another time. Yeah. But just wrapping things up with Split, I would give this one a 5 out of 5, an amazing grade as well. Absolutely. I think this is definitely one of Shyamalan's best films by a lot, and I'm so looking forward to Knock at the Cabin. And this is the end of the Shyamalan project. I've had a ton of fun exploring the peaks as high as Everest and the valleys as low as the Marianas Trench during this project, and I am thankful to all of you who have checked it out, whether it be one video or all the videos. I am grateful for that. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on and reviewing this with me. You're always welcome on the channel. Like I said, Jacob's channel will be linked in the description. Go give him a subscribe there. And as for this channel, I will be continuing on with my Road to Creed 3, covering Rocky 5, and I will be having a special guest on to talk about Rocky Balboa. So that's all in the cards there. But
Adrian!
We did it. But for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. You have a good night.
Awkward pause.